So there's an Impractical Jokers movie out. The film came out a while ago in America, but it got a random, completely unadvertised drop onto digital stores in the UK at the beginning of the month, so I decided to check it out. I don't really understand why I didn't see any adverts or anything for it. I only found out it was on digital platforms when I stumbled across it on Amazon earlier. I'm a big fan of the TV show, so I was interested to see how it would translate into a movie, even though from the get-go I knew it wasn't going to be good. The show is good in occasional bursts, but I find it gets tedious if you watch more than an episode or two in a row, meaning that asking me to watch what is essentially 3 episodes in a row with a story crammed in between was going to be a tough ask. And the film is basically everything I expected it to be. In the film, the group get invited to Paula Abdul's big party in Miami, but she accidentally only gives them free passes, meaning that they have to do hidden camera pranks in order to decide who gets to go. When the film isn't just the hidden camera segments of the show, it's a really bad road trip movie with jokes that constantly fall flat. The group's performances in these scripted sections were fine, I guess. They're not going to win any awards, but for non-actors, they're not the worst. The problem with these sections is simply that it just isn't funny or interesting. It's the most run-of-the-mill road trip story with the most basic and unfunny jokes. When Jay and Silent Bob Reboot is a funnier and more interesting road trip movie, you probably have done something wrong. The quality of everything in these sections are pretty below average, and there were points where I felt like I was watching that awful Smosh movie. But obviously that's not why anyone's going to watch this movie, it's all about the pranks. In this film, I laughed incredibly heavily at 3 of the prank segments, however the rest were pretty bad, even for the show's standard, and I think a big reason why is because it's just all the sort of stuff we've seen them do on the show for almost 10 years now. The segments are funniest when they make the most of the fact they have a big budget and can basically do anything they want, but that's very rare, and most of the movie feels like segments that were filmed for the show and then just crammed into the movie. The point of doing a movie based on a TV show is that you can have a larger budget, do things you couldn't do on TV, and say things that you couldn't get away with on TV. But this film doesn't really do any of that past the singular F-bomb and multiple uses of the word shit. There's a couple bits where they pushed themselves and did something that they couldn't do on a small TV budget, but for the majority of the movie I felt like I was watching something I could just watch on TV for free. Honestly, there's not much to say about this movie. If you love the show, you may get some enjoyment out of the prank segments, but as a full movie, it just wasn't really worth watching. To be honest, out of all the segments I actually liked in the film, you'd probably barely be able to squeeze together a full episode. I highly doubt I'll remember watching this film within the next few days, because apart from a few great moments, this film is just kind of nothing. I'm going to give Impractical Jokers the movie a 1.5 out of 5.